Jamming, yeah, jamming. I hope you like a jamming too. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Jamencast. I'm Jamin, your host. I'm here every week, and we're going to be talking about some gaming stuff, all right? So I'm going to talk about what I've been up to, and then I'm going to talk about some E3, because that's the big gaming news this week. Lots of gaming news coming out of E3, video games coming up, big announcements, lots of things, DLC. Oh boy, here's the juicy tidbits. They're a-coming. They're a-dripping. And then we're going to be talking with our good friend, and thankfully he's coming on, a nice interview with the _ Matloc. Mr. Matloc himself is coming on the program, and it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun to talk to him, see what he's got to tell me about Twitch streaming, what he's got to talk to me about video games, and sharing that knowledge with you, my friends, is going to be awesome. So let's get at it. What you're listening to right now is a transition to a new segment. Do not change your audio settings. Continue listening. The new segment's coming up. Thank you for being here. I want to start talking about video games. Let's start talking about Command & Conquer. You guys know this series? This is one of the biggest RTS series of all time, right? But I want to specifically talk about the game I've been playing this week, Command & Conquer Generals. I beat the single-player campaign in that on the easiest mode because it's honestly, you put the difficulty up on that and it just makes it harder on a mathematical level, it feels like, not a skill-based level. Although it probably is skill, to know what's going to happen in the... Doesn't matter. I put it on easy. Don't judge me, bros. It was fun. It was a lot of fun to play that game again because I played it a lot as a child, but I didn't play it very much recently. So reliving that experience and re-seeing the things that I loved as a child is really great. And I say child, it was 2003, so I was 15 or 16. I'm not exactly sure if I think it was 12 or 13. Anyway, Command & Conquer General 0 Hour is the better version, quote-unquote, with air quotes there, better version of the game, and I got to play that some. So now I started doing that campaign. That'll be fun to finish. I hope to finish that by the end of the week. We'll see if I do. It's very kind of racist. It's very kind of weird to play the game because it's just this look back into the past of World of Warcraft. Did I just say that World of Warcraft? We're not. Why are we talking about that? No, we're talking about Heroes and Generals 0 Hour. And this is a look back at 2003 and this weird bubble that we lived in where it was this very strange thing to look at the Middle East, and nobody understood it really. Nobody understood Islam. It was not understood in American culture what Islam was. It just wasn't really talked about until obviously 9/11, and then it became this huge thing, and it was kind of just this don't be racist against them, but also here's the bad guys in this game, and they're very, very much a stereotypical Islamic bad terrorist guy. So it's really weird to play. Other things going on in my life: Zuldazar from World of Warcraft. So I talked about World of Warcraft a second ago for no reason because it's burned into my brain. I have to log in for my daily quests. Excuse me, I mean my world quests. I have to log in for my world quests, not my dailies, and get some rep. I'm trying to get exalted with Zandalar so that I can play a straight-back troll. My troll has had chiropractic problems since his inception in vanilla, and I'm finally able to create someone that does not have that problem. A very tall, very regal, very beautiful troll man. I cannot wait to play a troll with no back problems. It's going to be straight and awesome. And by straight, I mean physically just straight, not his sexual orientation. You could be gay. I don't care. It's a troll. Whatever. Who cares? Anyway, I only have 7,000 more quests to go until I'm exalted. It'll be great. It'll probably take me another month. No, actually, it's going to probably be this week or next week, and then I'll probably just level that shaman on stream. Unless I'm playing Heroes. It's going to be really weird to balance. I want to play Command & Conquer Generals. I want to play Heroes. I want to play World of Warcraft. But I want to levels enhance and see how that goes, because I have played Elementals since Wrath of the Lich King, and enhancement has always been this kind of weird, vague thing that I kind of understand, but I don't really because I've never put time into it. So I'm hoping to do that. And then Heroes of the Storm, I played it again. I played it, boys. I came back. I got back into the juice, okay? I had put it down. I'd put it aside. I said, no more Heroes, because that game, let me tell you, there was some real problems from Daddy Blizzard with that game, okay? I felt abused by Daddy Blizzard. And, sometimes you got to forgive. Sometimes you got to say, Blizzard, this was a beautiful thing. I will hold on to it. I don't care if you're going to abandon. I will take it in. Thank you for keeping the servers running, by the way. Thank you for that. Thank you. But I had a lot of fun. I only played like 5 games, but it was a blast. It was so much fun to play again and just talk about and stream. It's such a great game to stream, especially because I know what I'm doing and I'm very good at it. And, that's what's been going on in my life. That's what's been going on this week. For me, lots of things going on outside my life for, news announcements. But we'll talk about in the next segment, and that segment is called What's News. What you're listening to right now is a transition to a new segment. Do not change your audio settings. Continue listening. The new segment's coming up. All right, boys and girls, this is What's News. So mostly today, we're going to be talking about the E3 announcements. So the first big announcement from E3 was Jedi Fallen Order. And I want to talk about this because Star Wars is a huge part of my life. I adore it. I really do. I think The Last Jedi had a lot of problems. I think anyone could say that. I think that's an understatement to some people, an overstatement for some people. But for me, that's right there. Okay? It had a lot of problems. But it was still a good movie. I still enjoyed it because, I kind of love Luke Skywalker and I love seeing him. And some of the stuff I see, I actually love Adam Driver. Adam Driver's amazing. He's a great, I don't know if an anti-hero or some kind. I just love him. He's really good. Everything he does, I'm convinced. I'm convinced he's Kylo Ren when I see him there, and he's been really good in everything I've seen. Anyway, so Jedi Fallen Order, my big question is, why is this guy so strong with the Force, and why have we never heard of him before? Because the things they have him doing, they have him blasting open blast doors with his Force powers. He's a Force push that bends them like a can opener. He just rips them apart. Which is kind of crazy. And then he's got freezing time powers, which seems to, harken towards Kylo Ren's ability to freeze that laser bolt or to freeze Rey in place during the new trilogy. But he was focused still when he was freezing Rey, or he had to focus on them. In this one, it doesn't seem like he's focusing as much. He's kind of just like able to walk around and do whatever. Whatever. He just seems to be on the same level as Kylo Ren, this guy I've never heard before. We've never seen. He's got to die at some point, right? Or he's got to become one with the Force or something. How do you have this character that's never shown up in the lore before to exist at this exact moment after Order 66? I mean, they just did it with the Rebels, right? The Rebel show. Clone Wars has, Ahsoka, and how do these people that are really powerful show up and survive but not contribute to the story in any way later in the game, right? Later in the show. So anyway, this is going to be really exciting. I am excited for this game. It looked really interesting. It looked like it had a little bit of like a Sekiro vibe to it with the, looks like posture damage on some of the stronger enemies. And that looks exciting. It looks like a fun game. It looks very free form. How do you approach, whether or not that's going to be on easy mode, you just run in and slash your lightsaber and kill everything, or if on hard mode, if that's worth it. I want to see. I hope they leave like a difficult mode, but I hope, because it's going to be an EA game, right? It's going to be a Star Wars game. They want as many people playing this as possible. They're not going to Sekiro it. They're not going to make it a difficult game, because that will draw too many people away and push too many people out that just want to play a Star Wars game and enjoy it. So there's going to be like an easy mode, and there's going to be a hard mode, right? And is that hard mode a real hard mode? Like, right? Like, who? In Sekiro, you don't have a choice. You have to play hard mode, or you don't play. In this, you're going to have the choice, I'm sure. And it's kind of, I wish they would really have the balls, the cojones, to just go at it, go after it, and, make a Star Wars game that's really difficult to play but has a great story. But, well, it's all good. I'm really excited for the actor, and then, Forrest Whitaker's coming back. And, okay, but he was in, his character, Saw Gerrera, is that right? I'm sure there's some Star Wars nerds mad. And I say that as if I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I don't know. I wish I did. I need to know these things because I'm losing my credentials as a Star Wars nerd. Anyway, he was in Clone Wars, and he was in Rebels, the 2 shows, not the Clone Wars movie. His character was not Forrest Whitaker quite yet in the Clone Wars show, but in Rebels he comes back as the Forrest Whitaker version, or like a pre-version of that. And it's really exciting to see him again, to see more of this character. He's got some very interesting kind of morals and questionables. Could be fun. Could be fun to see that. So that's a big announcement, Jedi Fallen Order. The next one, Cyberpunk 2077. If you hadn't seen this, if you didn't see the announcement, it was probably the highlight of E3, and this is coming from someone who didn't get to see everything. Okay, this is the one that I saw shared a lot. I saw it live, but then I don't have a time to always see everything. But this one definitely is making its rounds around the internet after I saw it, and the guy yelling, "You're breathtaking," and Keanu responding with "You're breathtaking" was really good. It was a great moment. Keanu Reeves, very cool to see him. I've really appreciated him more as an actor. I just saw John Wick and John Wick 2 and John Wick 3, and the only thing I ever saw him in really was Bill and Ted, John Wick, and The Matrix. And The Matrix was an amazing movie, but I haven't seen him really, and he's just great. He's a good actor. I'm excited every time I see him posted anywhere. Maybe it's a big PR stunt. Maybe it's just his team's really good at keeping his image up, but everyone seems to really enjoy Keanu as a person. And so I'm excited to see what he does and where this goes. I don't really care that he's attached to Cyberpunk 2077. I just thought that was interesting and delightful. He seemed really nervous on stage to me. He seemed to, kind of out of it and exciting, a little bit timid about all these people cheering for him, but it's all good. Then they announced Battletoads. That was a really weird one for me. Battletoads has not been around since what, NES, Super NES? And in that game, it was very difficult. And to me, it kind of looks like Castle Crashers art style, right? Like it's just kind of like a 2D cartoony brawler. Looks fun, I guess it could be, but it was never really my game, the game that I was excited about. So seeing it, it's exciting. And just to see Battletoads again, to have them back. But I'm not over the moon about it. I don't think I'll pick it up unless someone really tells me that Battletoads, holy crap, you have to try this game. It's really brought Battletoads back to its roots. I think there's a reason we haven't seen a sequel for it till now. Moving on to Halo, two things. The Master Chief Collection. We already knew about it. We already knew about the Master Chief Collection, but it's coming to PC, and I am excited. I love Halo. I do. I do remember Bungie and the 343 Industries thing and all these like fallouts, and I'm really sad that Halo's not with the people who originally made it. But also, who would want to be working on something that they've been working on for that long in a video game? Because video games are, as you've seen like Miyamoto talk about this, and a lot of game designers talk about this, that they don't want to create the same game that they already made, right? It's not fun. It's not interesting. People don't want to play it. You don't want the same thing over and over and over. People want new things. People want new and exciting things. So when you see Mario, there's always some weird gimmick with the new game because they don't want to just remake a new game, which, they do that kind of with this new Super Mario Brothers world, but there's always something a little different. There's always something a little change because what's the point, other than just graphically being better, what's the point in playing it again? Unless it's just a re-release or a remaster, right? Which everyone seems to be doing this day anyway. Remasters and re-releases are a huge thing. But just do that, I guess, instead of trying to make a game the exact same, but with a new upgraded graphics engine. Just make the same game. Why people will play it, obviously. If you're not going to innovate, then just repackage the same game you already made. Don't make a whole new thing that's not innovative at all. And then Halo Infinite, what a great trailer. I really did like that. I don't know how I feel about it specifically because, again, Halo Reach I wasn't all that excited about. Halo Infinite, though, looks really good. And has there been a game since Reach? Am I misremembering? I don't. It's all good. But Halo looks great. I'm excited for that. One of the things that came out that I was more excited about than I thought I would be, because I just thought it was going to be another generic version, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Have you seen this trailer? Okay, so Dragon Ball Z has been done, right? Like the fighting games have come out. There's Budokai 2, and Dragon Ball Fighters. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is an action RPG. And I haven't seen that since what? Like the Super Nintendo Dragon Ball Z games? Action RPG set in the DBZ universe. It's not Xenoverse? Was that Dragon Ball Xenoverse? Anyway, I'm excited. I can't wait to play as play as Kakarot and have some like skill points or something, or some way to create my character, RPG roleplay in this game. I'm excited. I'm very excited for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, more than I didn't know anything about it until this trailer. Then came the Final Fantasy VII remake. That was announced later, I think the next day. Not the announcement for it. The announcement for it was 5 years ago, in 2014. They announced the Final Fantasy VII remake. And now they finally announced a release date. So hype, boys. Get hype. Everyone get excited. Pump your arms in the air. Unless you're driving, then please keep your hands on your wheel. Do not take your hands off. Exciting, man. Exciting. Final Fantasy VII, squeak in the chair. Because what's a podcast without a chair squeak? Final Fantasy VII was not my favorite Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy IV took that for me. Final Fantasy VII is fun. It's an enjoyable game. It's a blast game. I think it probably is the second favorite game of mine of the Final Fantasy series, but Final Fantasy VII is being remade, the HD version. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I do want to play Dragon Ball Z. Kakarot is on my mind still. I'm talking about Final Fantasy X. They're talking about remaking that. Final Fantasy VIII, I think they said they're remaking as well. It's exciting. What a great game. Going to be exciting. Going to be great. And then Nintendo came out. Nintendo, what are you doing, Nintendo? What are you doing, Nintendo? You make me smile. This is my smile voice. You made me smile, Nintendo, with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel in development. For me, this reminds me of Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, right? Ocarina of Time came out. They had the assets, they had the engine, they had the stuff, and they made Majora's Mask. It was a completely different game, but it played very similarly. Like, the way you controlled Link was very similar to how you controlled him in Ocarina of Time. It was just a different game rhythm. Just like I talked about, innovating. You don't want to make the same game. You want to make something different. But if you're using the same assets, you can do that. So let's see what they do with this. Is it going to be the same free-form exploratory world that we saw? Or are they going to make it a little bit different in the way you play the game, the rhythm of the game? So they had Link and Zelda going into a dungeon together in the teaser. And that's about all they showed. Like, you don't get to see anything. You don't get to see really anything. But does it mean co-op? Are we co-oping it? I would love it. It'd be good. But it could also be just a single-player game where you control both, right? So you could send Zelda out to go do something, and then you do something else. But if they made that co-op, that would be awesome. Do you have to have 2 Switches for that? Can you play online? A lot of questions. Very exciting. I love Breath of the Wild. What a great game. If you have not played Breath of the Wild and you like open worlds, go buy a Switch. Go buy this game and play it. Just play it. You will not be sorry you did. If you like Zelda at all, go buy this game. Why have you not bought it yet? It's amazing. It's a great game. It's probably one of the best in the series, if not the best. Honestly, I think it's really up there. Ocarina of Time's an amazing game, but Breath of the Wild is amazing. Truly. Okay, I have to bring it back down. Hold on. Bring it back down. My brain went to rose-tinted mode right there. I forgot that the boss dungeons were kind of lackluster, okay? Everything about the game is amazing in the fact that if you're exploring and want to just go see things and do whatever and not have like a mission or anything you want to do, just exploring a new world, play Breath of the Wild. If you want a dungeon crawler where you like find puzzles and figure it out, not the game for you, okay? It's a little bit different. You're not going to get that big, giant water temple feeling that you got. I'm still talking about Breath of the Wild. It's been so long it's been out. If you haven't played it, play it. If you have played it, you understand what I'm saying. Then they announced their new Smash characters. There's a lot of other things, but the 2 big things, their new Smash characters. Dragon Quest, The Hero, I played Dragon Quest, the newest one. It was interesting. I might go back and play that at some point, but it's kind of not my exact game, right? Like, I like grinding, and I like grinding. And there is grinding in that game if you want to, but it doesn't feel rewarding. It doesn't feel compelling. It's not fun to grind as much as some other games have really good at grinding, okay? And then the other better announcement for me, and I'm sure there's people that are mad about this, Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in Smash. He's the next announced fighter. Rare used to be part of Nintendo or was making for Nintendo, but then they got bought by Microsoft. So Banjo-Kazooie belongs to Microsoft. But now he's going to be in Smash. So big deal. Big deal for that. Really big deal. Lots of stuff in E3, man. E3 is a great time. What a great bunch of news for this week. For E3 mostly. I mean, there's so much more that happened, but I can't even go into it because honestly, it would take forever. And so I just want to get to the interview. I want to get to the sweet spot of this podcast. I want to get to it and show you guys who I have today. I have a great friend, and I'm excited to have this interview, boys. So here you go. What you're listening to right now is a transition to a new segment. Do not change your audio settings. Continue listening. The new segment's coming up. My name is Jamin, and we're listening to Jamincast. Right today, I have the privilege, the honor of interviewing a very special person. His name is _Matloc.
Ooh,
The Matloc. He's got the underscore included. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you? And it is my honor and privilege to be here, actually.
Well, thank you. You're my second guest on Cast. You're a special person. You're the first person ever to donate money on my stream. I don't know if you know that.
That's right, I am.
Yeah.
And you know what? I take that back now, actually, since I'm the second guest. I take back the honor and privilege.
The honor and privilege, yeah. It's not quite the same as first. You're right. I'm sorry. Conflicting schedules and me not talking about it at all or asking you really, made it hard to get you on for the first guest.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So what's for you? I see the Matloc. Is this any relation to the Andy Griffith Show? Is that what that's from? What's the genesis of your name?
I guess a little bit. Matlock actually came to be. I'm a big World of Warcraft guy.
Okay.
I created a character. I want to say like a week after launch.
In vanilla.
And in vanilla.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a resto druid that I leveled through vanilla because I'm a glutton for punishment. And his name was Mathian. And then after I finally finished leveling him, I said, let me make an alt. And I really wanted to try a warlock. And as a little bit of a play on words and something that seemed fun and punny, I said, let me both reference the show for anybody old enough to remember it and talk about myself and the class that my alt is all.
The Matloc. Truly a creative name that
indeed.
Yeah.
And then as I transitioned into streaming, Mathian felt a little too that was my main name. I don't remember if I said that or not.
Right.
It felt a little too high fantasy, a little too D&Ding in my mom's basement-y. So I wanted something that had some staying power, something that was reasonably memorable. And I said, let me give Matlock a shot. Unfortunately, Matlock was taken by somebody who no longer exists on Twitch. So the _Matlock was born, hopefully to be replaced with just Matlock eventually.
Gotcha. Okay, but you are the Matlock, right?
I am the one and only Matlock.
Okay, good. Good to know. So how long have you been streaming then? Did you stream back in Justin.tv days or is Twitch?
No, so my account was created in 09, but I didn't start streaming until last year.
Last year, okay.
Yeah, it was. I've been an affiliate for a little over a year. I took a long break in the middle there, but yeah, I'd say I've been streaming since I started like December. So about a year and a half, December of 17, I want to say, January of 18, somewhere around there.
Got it. And what made you want to stream? Was there like a person you saw that you were like, I could do that, or did you just happen to like fall into it? You're like, I'm just going to stream for fun and see what happens, or what inspired you to be a streamer?
I mean, a little column A, a little column B there. I'd been watching Twitch obviously for a long time, back to when it was Justin, and watching Doctor Disrespect the Doc, the two-time 1993-1994 blockbuster video game champion. It was inspiring to me, right? Here was a guy who is a very, very, very skilled gamer, obviously, but at the same time is an incredible entertainer. And it was it was a little disappointing to me actually, because I said, "Damn, if I had only started streaming earlier, that's exactly what I would have done. I would have been that super cocky, over the top personality, because it's like what Guy Beam does as the Doc is just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm a bartender, and I was an actor in high school, and that's kind of the character that I play when I bartend, right? When I talk with people, I tell them that my modesty is one of my very best qualities that begins with the letter M, and things like that, and I parlay that into having this overextended ego, this huge gigantic head that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, that's you put it on for the show really as a bartender,
right.
And and for your stream, I guess too. It must have correlated over.
Yeah, so I took the bartending and I parlayed that into streaming. You still putting a little bit of that in there, but when I first started, actually, it was quite the opposite. I was losing every game that I streamed as I was trying to figure out how to read chat and play a game at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And people were really coming for the losses. So Um, I took that and I ran with it,
Yeah,
and
you're like, you know what? You know, as
the
long
one
as they're
community.
coming, it's all good.
That's right.
Yeah. Uh, and so you stream Heroes. Like I see you stream Heroes all the time. Are you able to branch out? Because as a streamer, I've noticed that if I don't play a specific game, it's hard to meet people sometimes. Like if I just jump on a new game randomly, people that normally come to my stream will definitely not. They'll see it and go, oh, he's not playing Heroes, so I'm gonna watch something else. How do you feel locked in? Do you feel like it's good, or are you worried that you're not gonna be able to change to something else?
Um, I don't know. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? So I definitely experience the same thing that you do as predominantly Heroes of the Stream stormer,
Mm-hmm.
streamer, a Heroes of the Storm streamer. Wow, it'd be wonderful if I could speak. I want to
Yeah,
do this
yeah.
for a living.
It's
You
all
know?
good. No, we'll edit it out in
Um,
post, which I won't edit it out, but I'll say I'll
yeah,
edit it
don't
out.
please don't. This is part of who I
Yeah.
am. Yeah, no. So as predominantly a Heroes streamer, yeah, I definitely see a downtick in viewers, but especially at my level, um, I'm doing this because I enjoy it, because I like being a bartender, like a virtual bartender. So if one person comes in and talks with me, that's great. Um, but to more specifically focus on your question, yeah, definitely. I worry that there is no way that I could parlay my audience into something else, because a lot of them are so very hero specific.
Yeah.
I played one night, rather infamously, in my stream of Resident Evil 2 when it came out.
The remake,
And
the new one,
yeah,
the
the remake.
remaster. Okay.
Yeah. And I hate jump scares. So people thought it was going to be great because I would have been a scared little bitch.
Yeah.
I was worried I was going to physically punch my monitor screen first and go backwards, but then actually punch my monitor afterwards. It didn't happen that way because I didn't get that far in the game. But I saw a real, you see a real downtick when you play anything else.
Yeah.
I've played Sea of Thieves with buddies. I've played Rust with buddies.
Yeah. Sea of Thieves,
You
I've
know,
noticed, is a really tough game to stream because there's not
yeah,
much going on for most of the game, and people aren't
right.
really looking to watch people stand on a deck and play instruments.
Yeah, no, it's a little iffy.
Yeah.
To me, if you're going to branch out into something like that, the way that I've always seen it is you have to have a real crew where you can have some interactivity.
And you have to
If
have
you
a
get like,
real personality that's just
yeah,
carrying your stream.
if you can get four people together that you can really bounce ideas off of each other,
Mhm.
and really make something that is, be a content creator as opposed to just a streamer.
Yeah.
That's really, how you can take that and elevate it to something different, something new,
Yeah.
that will hopefully bring people in.
Yeah, I've got four good friends. I mean, five. We always have too many people for the boats on Sea of Thieves, but I don't expect them to entertain my viewers. So we're never doing anything to like. It's always just me, right? I don't
Right.
expect them because it's not their stream, it's my stream. And also they don't always pertain to the Twitch terms of service with the way they speak. So I have to be really careful. Um, but
Yeah,
it's
there's that.
fine. It's so Sea of Thieves is one of those games it's enjoyable. I think the arena mode actually have had some really good in there because it shows you in the game, and my name in the game has Twitch in it, so people know to look for me from the game. So I'll get a bunch of people
Okay.
that'll jump in and
Right.
stream snipe me from the arena. So that's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
pretty good for streaming. Um, more importantly, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by Sea of
That's
Thieves.
okay. Good. Listen, sidetrack is good. This is what we're
Side,
talking about. You gotta
exactly, yeah. I mean,
have side quests that you can stream.
I wanted to ask you about video games In particular, is
Sure.
there a specific video game that you remember from your childhood, a small game that the first game that really inspired you to like video games? Is there a specific one that stands out in your memory?
Um, I mean, there were a lot of little games that I played. Obviously, I could go back. So I'm 33 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be 34 in a month. And the Nintendo Entertainment System was my first console and my first real parlay into gaming. So I could go back to like playing Mario or Duck Hunt with my mother or grandmother at their house, things like that.
Yeah.
But I would say the real game that got me into gaming, my best friend, who has since moved to California, um, told me about Final Fantasy, and he gave me Mystic Quest, which I played through and was good. But then Final Fantasy 3, which many people will know as Final Fantasy 6, was released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and oh man, I blew through that, and I loved every damn minute of it. My nerd synapses were firing. I
Yeah.
was just it was incredible. It was a transformative experience, one that my wife probably wishes I didn't have to this day. But such is life.
Is
And
that okay?
yeah,
The main character in that one, what's his name?
that was Terra.
Terra. That was Terra. Okay.
Yeah.
And they remade that for Final Fantasy VI.
Well, no, it was so that was the sixth Final Fantasy. So if you were in
Okay.
Japan, definitely, maybe even Europe, I don't remember.
I
Where,
remember Final Fantasy
it was
IV
released
coming
as
out with
six.
Cecil and the Dragon Knight jumping on.
Yeah, yeah. So that was released as Final Fantasy 2. I actually played that after I played Final Fantasy 3.
Okay, so for
but I love
me,
that
and
as
I
well.
talked about this last podcast with my because I asked the same question to Marco, who I interviewed.
Mhm.
I asked him, and I told him Final Fantasy IV was my Genesis game. It was the game that I played, and I realized, holy crap, this video games are amazing. Like, this is great.
Yeah, yeah. The storytelling was in 6 and 4. But it was incredible. I still to this day think that Final Fantasy 6 or 3, depending on how you look at it, is one of the greatest video games ever made. Now, maybe that's a ping of nostalgia. I'm not sure. It's something that I've wanted to play through again on stream for some time. And something that I always say, hey, it's going to be like my Sunday fun day, early morning, just play through this and just have that nostalgia bite at me.
Yeah.
Game.
I've never
But,
played
it's something that I haven't
3/6. I need to
Oh,
go
yeah.
back and play this one now because I played 4 and I've played like the remake of 4 as well, and I have the music all in my playlist. I have it; it'll just randomly pop up Final Fantasy 4 coming into town before the town burns, and I was like, oh my god, the feelings.
Yeah, when they drop that package off and the whole town burns. Oh
Yeah.
man,
I feel so terrible. I didn't know that I was going to be a bad guy. I didn't know it.
surprise.
Yeah. It was amazing. And then, of course, Final Fantasy VII Remake just got announced, or the actual release date is actually announced March 3rd, I think it was.
Yes, something like that.
So that's exciting. But yeah. So these Genesis games, I think, are really important. I think everybody has one game that they really,
course, yeah.
My last and almost everyone I talk to has that. So what's the future for Matloc right now? You got a lot of nice overlays. You got a lot of nice marble games going on. You really are good at interacting with chat and getting chat playing. Just
Thank
talking
you.
and
Yeah,
moving
I
around.
try to.
What's in the future? Is there anything coming out that you're excited about?
I'm an architecture student, and I'm a student of design as a whole. So I like to keep things changing visually for the stream itself. But you had mentioned earlier like chat interactivity and things like that. Like I said, I'm a bartender, and that's how I've worked my way through college for a long time. And I'm trying to the way that I see streaming for myself, at least, is like interactive bartending, virtual bartending, so to speak, where I'm willing to speak with anybody about anything. You come in, if I have the knowledge, I will give it to you. If I don't have the knowledge, I will make it up as I go. That's basically how it is. I will pretend that I have the knowledge, and I will Google it quickly on the side without letting you know that I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just try to keep it as fresh as I can, growing out, and hopefully more people experience my particular brand of humor and faux cockiness, and see where it goes from there.
What are you leveling in Classic WoW? What's your first character you're gonna make? Is it gonna be a lock or is it gonna be something else?
No, I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna redo a druid.
Druid, and
Yeah,
is it gonna be a
my
Boomkin
first
Druid, right?
one- Well, my first one, I play a Moonkin now. My first one was Resto because Moonkin didn't exist.
Did it not? I thought you could be a
when-
Boomkin in vanilla.
No, later on in vanilla you could. Well, I guess because this is the last patch before the end of vanilla, you could probably become a Boomkin. I don't remember.
Yeah, to put a
how that
Boomkin with the
patched out.
mages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But originally, at release, there was no such thing as a Moonkin.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
leveled actual Resto. It took me 3 hours to kill a fucking null.
You're gonna level? Are you gonna level as Resto again?
I might do it.
You're
might just because
just
I'm
to extend the
true
game?
masochist. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I
Okay, and
think
then
I
more
also,
importantly than that is what is it? Horde or Alliance? Are you a Night Elf or are you a Tauren?
so I was originally a night elf,
Oh
and I
my-
will do. I'm gonna go straight nostalgia, but
Hold on.
the second thing I'm going to do, because I've never had a horde character.
You've never had a horde character. You never played the
No,
correct race or the correct side.
no, dirty hordes. I'm going. Yeah, I'm gonna make a horde character, and I'm gonna level horde.
Yeah. I
to
think you should just make a horde
do
character
that.
and ignore the alliance stuff because I think you completely missed out on the actual game. I feel like you're having this
I think
nostalgia
you should
trip.
shut your whorish mouth. What the
Honestly,
hell?
I think you have these nostalgia glasses on and you're looking back and you're only seeing out of one eye. You haven't seen the true two-eyed version of the game.
You know, I only need to know the right eye and the
Okay.
correct eye, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'm gonna. I definitely. I want to experience it.
Yeah. Green Jesus is watching. That's true.
Green Jesus is watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about Green Jesus.
Yeah,
He's
back.
coming back now.
Yeah,
right?
they punched the emergency glass on Battle for Azeroth, and they brought Green Jesus back because their subs were falling.
Yeah, with Metzen and everything.
Yeah, I feel like that WoW, and so this is a really big thing for me playing WoW and just resubbing and playing now. Is I noticed that the combat rhythm is so intense and so fast paced relative to everything else in the game, like mining or herbalism or doing literally anything else. It's very slow. And it's the whole way the game was designed in vanilla. And so watching vanilla streamers and realizing, oh, the game was the combat was the same before. And now it's like, oh, make sure you're juggling all your resources and juggling all your dots and your damage and keep this on and keep that up and get rid of that and make sure that's low and make sure that's on cooldown. But don't do that instead of this. And there's a lot of things to pay attention to. While in vanilla it was literally like, oh, don't do that because you don't want to add another debuff to the mob because there's only 15 that can be on there. So like, don't take Stormstrike as a shaman because
Yeah, well, I mean, that was always the criticism of vanilla, at least from the developer's point of view,
Mhm.
was that they had a whole bunch of buttons that had no real use.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, thinking, putting developer glasses on and looking at it that way. Um, there's a lot that's going on now, but there was a lot more to potentially do back then. He just didn't do most of it.
Yeah.
Mechanics were not crazy in Molten Core. Mechanics are ridiculous now because as the game has matured, the average player has become more sophisticated, and there are a lot more mods and a lot more ways to parse information
Yeah.
and figure things out. But yeah, there's a definitive rhythm now that did not exist back in the day. It was
And I think
press
I
real
actually think
buttons.
that's a good thing or a bad thing for the game. I actually don't like the dichotomy of doing something like killing a bunch of mobs, chain lightning and earthquakes because I'm playing a shaman and destroying everything. And then, oh, now I'm going to go back to mining this little mining node real quick. Okay, back to killing and destroying. And you're like, oh, it's just it's jarring. It's a jarring moment, which I think watching Vanilla WoW, I'm excited about the idea of just kind of like AFK killing stuff by just right clicking on it and just like running around and interacting
Yeah.
with a stream that's listening. And I literally have so much I can do while playing and enjoying the game.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way. I think also partly because I never really had a gathering profession um, on any of my real mains. My
Gotcha.
gathering profession were always my alts.
Yeah. You can just stand still and click create all. I don't even know if
Yeah.
was there a create all button? There's definitely not a create all button in vanilla.
I mean, I've run so heavily modded. Yeah, there always was for me.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So obviously vanilla classic WoW is an exciting moment. What's in the future? What are you excited about? What's any games coming out that you saw at E3 or that you're excited about? I saw Keanu Reeves. Did you see Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, I thought maybe. Don't hate me, anybody
Mhm.
who's listening to this podcast or anybody who's watching this stream right now.
No
I
one-
thought the
no one
Keanu
can
thing
hate
was
you.
a little overblown. I thought Keanu kind of phoned that in a little.
You thought the him speaking the announcement was phoned in?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought he kind of felt like, what am I doing here?
Okay. Getting paid a lot of money, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Assuredly, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I've seen this happen a few times at events like this, BlizzCons in particular. Like when Blizzard has bands, like huge bands, like Foo Fighters have used to come out and do BlizzCon, and they're like, I'm surrounded by a bunch of gaming nerds. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Ironically enough, I think Foo Fighters was one of the bands that actually probably put on the best show at BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed to me like Keanu kind of felt a little out of place and was definitely
I think he was
stretching his
very
acting
nervous,
chops.
but I think it was honestly. I look at it as he's an actor. He's used to just like putting an acting into a performance and then like create. Like he doesn't go out and do a live show and like stand in front of all these people and have to explain this product to them ever. He's not an advertiser. He's an actor. He just does a character really, and so that's what I saw when I saw him being a little uncomfortable. And it just kind of was more endearing to me the way when I saw him that way, because I was like, oh, he's just a human. And there's a lot of people screaming at him and excited about this game that he is just an actor and like he does not have design decisions and stuff. And so it's interesting.
I mean, maybe you're definitely looking at it through much more rose-colored glasses
Yeah,
than I am.
yeah, I'm definitely giving him the benefit of the doubt, but he's definitely making
you could be entirely right.
a good amount of money. Yeah. And then I feel like the your what was it, You're Beautiful or You're Breathtaking was a moment that was like it was him like relaxing, like, oh God, okay, we're okay, this is okay.
Yeah. Well, I do remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As far as games that I'm really excited about at E3, I didn't watch today's Nintendo announcement, so I can't get super stoked about that.
Did you see who they announced for Smash?
I did not.
Have you ever played a game called Dragon Quest?
I'm familiar with Dragon Quest.
So the Dragon Quest, the hero draws in for battle. The hero, the main character, the luminary, is the next fighter. Mr. Trunks, the Dragon Balls. He looks like Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, but
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Dragon Quest. I'm also not a huge Nintendo guy.
You know what's better though? Because I gave you the crappy one in the beginning. You know who also got announced?
I don't know.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Ooh.
So
That's the name I know.
Nintendo used to have Banjo-Kazooie with Rare, but Rare is now owned by Microsoft. So nobody thought that Banjo-Kazooie would be in Smash, but he is. He's in the next Smash. He's the fall DLC character. And he has Kazooie on his shoulder, and Banjo's running around smacking people and shooting stuff and pulling, and it was amazing. Just watching the direct. I didn't watch all of it. I just watched the announcement. I saw a reaction video to people for the new characters. It was pretty great. It was it's exciting. I'm not a huge Super Smash person. Like I'm not. Mm-hmm. I don't have Joker yet. Like I didn't buy it because I've never played any of the Persona series, which seems exciting. But it's Smash. They look good. I was excited about them. I'm also not a huge Banjo-Kazooie nerd because I didn't have an N64. And then I barely played any Dragon Quest. I played some of it, and it wasn't exactly my cup of tea. It was just like kind of confusing to me and a little too cutesy and stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, I've played it before, but like I said, I'm not huge. Mm-hmm. I'm familiar with it. I'm tangentially involved with it.
And then are any long-term plans you have? So you have these short-term plans of always changing your stream a little bit. Any of the long-term things you're looking forward to?
As far as streaming?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm an architecture student, so I would really like to, and I've mentioned this before, and it's difficult to parlay a gaming stream into it. But I would really like to start doing some design content and architecture content on my stream, and hopefully
open some CAD or some 3D software and just draw some stuff for people.
Even physical modeling. I do a lot of my my design process starts out with a physical model in my hand, and then I'll take it from there.
Yeah, I've had these like ideas for a stream of doing like setting up cameras and then building Legos in front of the table and stuff, and that sounds. But I just don't have cameras or a budget for that or lighting or like. And then I put the Legos together. Right? I put the Legos together. And I'm like, I'm not taking those apart. Those are staying together.
But yeah, so long term, finish up school and hopefully, open some people up to architecture that hadn't thought of it.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds exciting. I'm not doing architecture myself. I'm doing construction management at the moment, and so it's not. Okay. But it's exciting. I would love to watch that stream. I would watch that stream just to see what's going on. So I hope you do it at some point, and I'll tune in.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. That was it. That's the interview. How did it go? How is this? How was this?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I had a hell of a good time.
Okay.
but I'm just sitting here answering your questions.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's really
it's easy
the
on
whole
me.
point of the podcast is to talk about video games, and because I feel like as you said, like these bands come on and they're like, oh, look at these video game nerds we're playing for, and it's like looked
Right.
down upon for some reason, and it really is. It's crazy. And then you look at someone like Asmongold, or I mean Summit or Ninja, and they're just raking in money, and you're like, how would you ever look down on someone like that? And but they still would. They would be like, video games, it's kind of weird. Like until
Well,
you,
not only that, but I mean, just look at video games as a media, right, or
Mhm.
as a medium. It's become immersive. It's become storytelling.
Right.
It's not just going out there and button mashing like you're playing Space Invaders. There, look at what's the one Death Strand or Stranding, or however that
Right.
whatever the name
The
of that is.
Kojima game, the new Kojima
Yeah,
game coming out.
I mean that's going to very obviously be a damn near cinematic experience.
Yeah.
Um, Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. That like I watched that stream. I felt like I was watching a movie
Mm-hmm.
as I was watching people play that. So I think that as as game companies, as developers, start to step away from button mashing and crazy over the top action all the time and think more about storyline and experience and try to make this more cinematic and interactive, like just interactive cinema. It will become much more accepted. I remember reading an article back in the day about a guy who was playing, I want to say it was like Bioshock or Bioshock 2, with his girlfriend. And he said that, hey, listen, everything was going great. She was enjoying watching me play because for her it was like a movie, until it got over the top and he like cut somebody's head open with a chainsaw, or it hit somebody with a magnum and their skull exploded.
Yeah.
So I think, granted, obviously, that's a lot of what the audience wants, but as we hopefully step away from that a little bit and step more into interactive storytelling, it will be more accepted as a medium that you
I
can take streaming and parlay that into a career.
I also think all the people who don't like video games are kind of old. And as we grow up, because I'm 30 here in a couple days, and
Hey, happy birthday.
yeah, and like as we get older, we look back and we go, "Oh, video games are cool." And no one when we were growing up, 30 years old, it was like, "Oh, they played maybe Atari, maybe some pinball, maybe some in an arcade." But now it's like we're coming in. Here we come, and boomers get out of the way. I know you guys like playing poker online, but we're coming in for real games here, okay? And it's exciting. I think it's just going to be time, and then I mean I'm sure there's going to be something in 5 years that's worse than Fortnite, and it's coming. It's something. It's and we're going to be 40, and we're going to look back and be like, I don't understand this new fangled whatever it is, and then in 60 years the kids will be talking about how their new thing is going to be great.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think that mobile gaming has the real potential to.
Oh God, I think you
that.
just mentioned the exact thing that I'm like, ugh, mobile gaming. I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. Can't we just have computers? And like this is not that like I think that is probably the way. I need to give it a better chance. But honestly, I write off mobile gaming. I'm like, no, I've played
casual. Like,
yeah.
what's going on over there?
Yeah, I'm like, I've played World of Warcraft with the garrisons. It's the same thing. You just log in daily to get your crates, and then you click the buttons. Nothing's changed. It's all the same. And I'm sure I'm missing some great stuff. So I really have to start paying attention to some nice mobile games.
Yeah, I think as they expand on mobile gaming and really grow the quality of a mobile game. So it isn't just clicking on random buttons in a garrison or playing the 17th reskin of Bejeweled or Candy Crush.
Yeah.
That as they start to really grow that,
like when that new Diablo game comes out. Oh man.
Do you not have phones?
Right.
Yeah, but I think that really is that gross, because that's a lot of people's, dipping the toe into the water of gaming now.
Yeah.
So you experience it that way for the first time, and then the 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 bug gets you. They stick their hooks in, and you want to play every
Yeah.
game that
Then you
exists.
start to get a
So
PlayStation, and then you finally buy a computer because you're smart. Come on, smart
yeah,
people. Come on. Fingers
come on and
crossed.
buy one already, or just call me and I'll build you one. That's fine.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. I'll send them out to you. I'll get everyone. I'll just send them to your Twitter and start having them spam you with
Yeah,
requests to help build computers.
I'm down, as long as I can make a YouTube video. I'll make it happen.
Thank you, Matloc. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being part of this experience for me, and I wish you the best of luck.
thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
What you're listening to right now is a transition to a new segment. Do not change your audio settings. Continue listening. The new segment's coming up. All right, boys, that's it. And ladies, boys and ladies, and men and women and people and gender fluids and all of that. Thank you for listening. That's been number 2 podcast, Jamancast number 2. It's out. It's done. There it is. You've listened. You've learned a little bit about streaming from Mr. Matloc. He's brilliant. Thank you, Mr. Matloc, for being on. And we learned a little about E3. We talked about what I'm doing, and we're going to have another one next week. I can't wait to see you. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great night. Have a great life. Have a great morning.